Today, what I wanted to talk about is right now, there's some things changing in society that we don't pay attention to, then we're going to be left behind. There's some advancements that are going on in the world that if we don't start getting our children acclimated to the things that are taking place, getting them prepared for the future, then we're doing them a real serious disservice. I'm particularly talking about the role that science and technology will play in their future. Really, that will play in their present, because the things that are going on that I'm speaking about, these are things that are going on right now. This is not just some way down the road stuff, but I'm speaking in the areas of robotics, computer programming, particularly what's going on, the revolution is going on in computers that are becoming self-aware, artificial intelligence, which is the generic term for it, deep learning. These are changes that if we do not get our children prepared for that right now, then they will be in trouble. They will be left behind. And there are those that have a vested interest in making sure that your children are left behind, because they don't want your children to be anything but just slaves, or to fill up their prisons and graveyards. So we have to combat that with something that is really proactive and practical. So for all of you homeschoolers, as a matter of fact, I don't even want to just limit this to the homeschoolers, but I'm specifically speaking to the homeschoolers, but this also can apply to parents out there or guardians out there that have their children in your standard government or public schools or charter schools or private schools. So there's a couple of things that you need to start working on now. They have some good educational videos online that they have them in a cartoon format that's easy to understand. But you have a couple of advancements that need to be studied, that the children need to be learning now. Even if you as a parent don't know these subjects, guess what? That's okay. There are things that you can still do. For one, something that you can start right now is just taking out, not even a whole hour. You don't even have to do a whole hour. Just taking out 30 to 45 minutes in a day to have the children to watch a educational video that is also in a format that's user-friendly, meaning that it's probably in a cartoon format. They have a lot of those, like I said. But take that time out, watch a video on something dealing with what's going on with space travel, or with astrophysics. I don't mean to use these terms, but in different areas of aerospace technology, planetary sciences, things of that nature, because that's something that's real big, and is real big now, and it'll be real big in the future, like in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. Robotics is one that children can get into, and it's a fun thing. They have videos on robotics so that they can get a history, or they can get a lesson on robotics and the fundamentals of it. But also, you can some things you can do that's actually not even very expensive. They have robots that you can purchase that you can let the children play with or take apart or put back together or make their own. This one is one that actually is only about, you can get it somewhere between 35 and 40 bucks. Well, no, let me take it back. Between 35 and 45 or $46. This is actually one that Sharper Image makes. You can buy this at Walgreens. You can buy this at some Walmarts. You can buy it online, eBay, Amazon, different websites. But this is actually it's not just a toy. This is a real robot. It's a robotic arm. It has the arm, the two-fingered hand, and it has tank tracks for motion. So this is a somewhat fully functional robot right here, and with a little bit of tweaking, it can be programmed beyond just the regular controller that it comes with, and that's where you start getting a little deeper into the lesson. But it's a start. And like I said, that's between $35 and $46. Another robot, this is very cheap. These, you can get these for like less than $10. And it may not be as advanced as our robotic arm here, but it is, it does, this is for like very little children, very young children, at least give them some type of start on robotics. And also it gives some use of, it's friendly to the environment, because they're using a can, aluminum can, to make as the body of the robot. So it's not as fully functional as the robotic arm. It does move. It has a motor in it, so they can learn some basic principles. And this is fun to do. It's called a tin can robot. You can get this at like Barnes and Nobles, maybe a hobby store or something like that. If there's any Toys R Us out there left, we can get it from there. This is a 3D printer. Now, what I particularly like about this is it allows your children or your student to be able to create things on their own. All right. So what I mean by that is the actual designs that they make, or it has many applications. It can be used for art also, but specifically with robotic applications, you can actually design a robot from scratch out of your head and draw it out and print it in real life and make a physical part that you can actually attach to other parts and make your own robot, which is what we plan on doing with this. So that's one that you can get these for, like, now the 3D printers are getting cheaper and cheaper. You can get them in a $300, $400 range, $400 range. This one in particular, you may be able to find it even cheaper online, the XYZ. but the 3D printers can range from in a few $100s all the way up to hundred thousands of dollars. You have larger format 3D printers, but this is a good introduction because this is the future of manufacturing. Right now, many car companies, they use a larger version of this to 3D print their parts. Okay, you have the medical field that they are actually 3D printing parts like bones or different joints, and well, not joints, but specifically different. They're 3D printing different prosthetics. So there's a lot of applications that this stuff can have. You know, they even talks of them 3D printing whole entire skull, which they're already doing that. You know, it's something out there. So really pay attention to what's going on. The children need to learn this stuff. You know, they have to be acclimated to this stuff now. Another thing that the children you can get the children into is programming. Programming right now, they have some user-friendly apps, user-friendly programs, computer programs to show children and adults who want to learn how to program. They can teach you in a user-friendly way how to program. The two languages that I would suggest, because there's many programming languages out there. The two languages I would suggest to teach the children would be C++ and Python. Okay, Python is the program that is the actual one of the bases for artificial intelligence, deep learning. This is the actual programming languages that is used prominently in the field of artificial intelligence. So that's just a few things. You know, if you want to check us out, you know, we have a school that we are building. Is kind of like a novelty. We call it Uganda University, which is directly being put together by my company, Uganda Robotics, which is located here in Chicago as well as in Uganda. And we will be putting more videos out in the future to let you know some things that you can do to get your children ready. We have to get our children ready for the future. There's some people who have a vested interest out there that they have a vested interest in making sure that our children are not prepared for the future. So if you notice in public schools, this stuff is not a regular subject. This stuff should be a regular subject in school. It shouldn't be an after-school program. It shouldn't be some sort of extracurricular activity. This should be a regular staple in the schools. Robotics, artificial intelligence, computer programming, 3D printing, nanotechnology, you know, planetary science. This should be the subject. These should be the subjects that are taught, along with, you know, all your standard regular math, reading, science, you know, life sciences. This is where we're going to. And if our children don't know this stuff, that's it. It's going to be a serious problem. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it was informative for you. Please go out and put this curriculum together. It's very inexpensive to do this. It's not a lot of money. Get your children a chess set, You know, let them learn chess. Let them learn another game called Go, G-O, which is an ancient Chinese game, board game. Rubik's Cubes. I mean, we all played with Rubik's Cubes as a child, but these games like that, it promotes certain cognitive senses within the brain. So these are the things that please go out there, put this curriculum together. You don't have to wait for a school to do this. You can homeschool your child. You don't have to wait for, you know, Westmont High School or, you know, Bret Hart Junior High or Gillespie Elementary School. You don't have to wait for them. Even preschool, you can teach your children this stuff, because I guarantee you this will be the best investment that you ever make for their future. And that's it. That's all I can say. Thank you for listening.